Okay, sixth graders, so this video sort of goes with lesson 8.3. We are not going to go through the entire lesson of 8.3, but I wanted to have us practice reciprocals, and we won't worry about all of the properties of multiplication right now. So on page 255 in your pink books, they talk about reciprocals, and we need to practice doing those so that you remember what that word means and how to understand them. A reciprocal, it says two numbers with the product of one. Product is that word that means multiplying, right? The answer when you multiply things. So if I were to have a multiplying problem like this, and I look for the answer, that is the product. Okay? So they say whenever you have two numbers and you multiply them together and the answer is 1, they are reciprocals. Another fancy word for that is the multiplicative inverse, because multiplicative is multiplying. Inverse means opposite, right? If I were to invert colors on the iPad, I'm changing the colors to the opposite, from light to dark or from dark to light, right? So if I was looking at this problem, let's figure out if this is a reciprocal problem. If I'm taking two fractions and I'm multiplying them, well, if the answer is 1, we know it's a reciprocal, so let's find out. The way we multiply fractions, remember, is we have the top and the bottom. So let's say I started with the bottom because I think the last few times I've done that. You can do it either way. So 4 times 3 is 12, right? And 3 times 4 is 12. Well, 12 over 12, we can reduce that. What goes into both 12 and 12? 12. So if we divide, we can reduce that to 1 over 1, which is 1. Okay? So looking at our definition then, it says two numbers with a product, an answer, when you multiply, of 1, those are the reciprocals. So is our answer 1? Yes. Which means these are reciprocals. Okay? There's one other way to figure out if it is a reciprocal, which you can do it the same way, and that would be if you cross canceled. You can do it that way too. So let's try one of those really quick. Quickly, I guess, would be the correct English there. Okay, what about if I had a whole number? So 6 times 1/6. Well, first of all, I have to figure out how to make my whole number into a fraction. And we know that whole numbers are always the whole number at the top, and at the bottom number of the fraction is always 1, right? So if I were to rewrite this, numerator is 6, denominator is 1, okay? So before we were multiplying all the way across, which we could still do. But if I wanted to make this a little quicker, I could use my cross-canceling method, right? And it doesn't really matter which colors I use, I guess. Okay, so if I start with the green line, 6 and 6. Is there something that goes into both of those? Yes, 6. So if I divide 6 by 6, I get 1. If I divide 6 by 6, I get another 1. So let's write those in green, I guess, so we know that goes with our cross-canceling. Okay, 1 and 1, we can't reduce those anymore because 1 is the smallest it can be. So I can't do anything with that. So then I would still multiply across. So if the numbers I'm looking at to go across, top number 1 times 1. That means my top number for my product, the answer, is 1. Then I would also have to multiply the bottom numbers. 1 times 1 is 1. So my fraction that I got as an answer is 1 over 1, which equals 1. That is also a reciprocal. It is the multiplicative inverse. 6 over 1 times 1 over 6. So those end up canceling each other out, and they are just 1s. We may need to know that sometimes, and so that's why we're practicing that. I'm not going to give you a specific assignment in the book, but I do want you to go on IXL, and you're going to practice one of the sections that has to do with reciprocals. Don't worry about all of our properties of multiplication right now, because we'll work on that later. For right now, this is all I want you to work on before the Easter break. Okay, thank you.